After entering the court disguised as a man, I unexpectedly heard everyone's inner thoughts. The civil officials slapped their faces. The military officers slapped theirs twice. And that old geezer practically unleashed the 18 subduing dragon palms. Here to help the poor again. These brainless brutes who don't understand human speech. Can they just get lost and start over? The emperor looked so upset. Did I say something wrong again? Ugh, please let me go. I don't want to attend court. I want to go back to the northwest. My vision went dark. Is it too late to resign now? As the second-place graduate, I, along with the top graduate, and the third-place graduate, knelt before the palace hall. I held my breath, though I knew I shouldn't look directly at the emperor. I still quietly raised my head, but with that one glance, a strange voice suddenly echoed in my ears. The top graduate and the third-place graduate are such a match. They truly are a perfect match. Oh my, what an amazing ship I'm witnessing. I was shaken to the core. If I didn't see wrong just now, the emperor didn't open his mouth at all. But who else in this hall would dare refer to themselves as we? Thinking of this, I secretly pinched my thigh. Great. Now I'm much more awake. While the top graduate accepted the decree, I raised my eyes and stole a quick glance at the emperor. That one look changed everything. Voices began to rise and fall in my ears. That damn second-place graduate. Standing in the middle is such an eyesore, blocking me from shipping them. This year's top graduate is truly handsome. So is the third-place graduate. The two of them just standing there, even without saying a single word, is already enough to fill 800 romance novels. The overbearing top graduate's intense love. Where can the third-place graduate run? The innocent third-place graduate's burning passion. He, who was always cold and aloof, would actually do such a thing to the top graduate. What was the third-place graduate thinking with that look? Is he thinking, so he was the one who wrote that article? Is he thinking, does the top scorer of the palace exam really have such an outstanding face? Can the second-place graduate please step back a bit? My entire body shivered. Trembling, I took a step back. As soon as I looked up, the emperor's lips curled into a faint, barely visible smile. This second-place graduate is a bit short, but their eyes are quite big, and they're surprisingly tactful. I didn't even know how I walked out of the palace. Dazed and confused, I almost got into the wrong carriage. Fortunately, the top graduate didn't mind. He and I were classmates to begin with. Seeing me so out of it, he even asked caringly, Zhaoxi, are you all right? Another voice rang in my ear. Zhaoxi is also quite pitiful. He's gotten thinner again. Could he be mistreated by his family? That wasn't the case at all. I was just too nervous and didn't sleep well last night. We exchanged a few pleasantries, and each boarded our own carriages to return home. As soon as I got off the carriage, my legs went weak. It was my grandmother, who was nearly 70, who helped me inside. Did someone discover your identity? I had loved poetry and literature since I was a child, while my brother was the exact opposite. Until recently, when I took the Imperial exam in my brother's place, my father, who had rushed home unexpectedly, ran into my brother who was changing clothes. Thinking he saw a ghost in broad daylight, he almost fainted. Grandmother comforted father, thinking we could just switch back without anyone noticing. But who knew I would actually become the second-place graduate? The whole family had no idea what to do. In the end, grandmother made the decision, forcing me to keep wearing men's clothes and brave it out. Oh, my face was still deadly pale. I grabbed grandmother's sleeve. Grandmother, do you think the palace is haunted? Strange voices keep echoing in my ears. Grandmother's pupils dilated. She comforted me, you just have too much on your mind, and haven't rested well. Get some sleep, and everything will be fine. Just as I obediently lay down, grandmother's voice exploded in my ears. Heavens, my poor granddaughter. After just one trip to the palace, she's acting even more paranoid than an old woman like me. How can there be ghosts in this world? If there are, I will use the 5 elements pure chi to illuminate the darkness. May 1,000 gods protect my spirit wherever I go, and the divine phoenixes sing. Obey my command immediately. The next day before court, grandmother forced me to drink 2 big bowls of herbal medicine. Are you feeling better? I avoided her gaze. Much better. Actually, it was even worse. But I lifted the curtain and looked at the Forbidden City. Perhaps, for a courtier, this ability might be a good thing. When I read essays, my favorites were always the left minister's policy papers. The left minister was said to be kind and gentle. After hearing of his many deeds, I admired him even more. Now that we were officials in the same court, as colleagues, I was understandably a bit nervous. I thought that for our first meeting, I must leave a good impression on him. There was a sudden commotion ahead. Did the left minister run into trouble? I raised my head in surprise. Because standing in the back row, I couldn't see anything. The Northwest Army has won a great victory. I heard General Qin is already on his way back to the capital. What does the left minister think? Almost everyone in court knew that General Qin and the left minister had opposing political views. I held my breath, hearing the left minister offer a cool congratulations. Then, the left minister's teeth-gritting voice exploded in my ears. How do I see it? I see it with my eyes. I see it with both of my eyes. So sarcastic, it's as if he crawled out of the underworld. Every time he speaks, his ghostly breath stinks up the place. Finally, the crowd slowly dispersed. The speech I had prepared had already been shattered to pieces by the left minister's inner thoughts. Where was the gentle, kind, and noble scholar I expected? Truly, one may know a person's face but not their heart. I cupped my hands in greeting. The left minister stopped in his tracks and gave me a sideways glance. I let out a sigh of relief. However, the inner voice that followed instantly made my heart leap into my throat. Where did this little girl disguised as a boy come from? I forced myself to stay calm. Everyone in this court was as sharp as a needle. The slightest slip-up would leave me vulnerable. But in the end, I was still too young. My hand, still cupped in greeting, trembled violently, and cold sweat quickly drenched my back. All these years of disguising myself as a man, I thought my disguise was absolutely flawless. Sometimes, looking from afar, even my own parents couldn't tell us apart. How did the left minister find out? I quietly looked up at the left minister. Rumor had it that Xie Qingyan was exceptionally talented, scoring top marks in all 3 levels of the civil exams in his youth, becoming the youngest left minister of the Great Zhao. Not only was he incredibly brilliant, but his looks were also outstanding. Families in the capital who wanted to marry into his family could line up from the east of the city to the west. My heart beat furiously, and a drop of sweat fell from my forehead. Why does he keep staring at me? I wash my court robes every day. I don't smell bad, do I? I even took a bath and used incense before leaving. I should only smell of nice fragrance, right? Why does he find me so disagreeable? I opened my mouth. Heavens, even if I had 10 times the courage, I wouldn't dare find the left minister disagreeable. Fortunately, I wasn't given much time to think. The emperor has arrived. It was my first time attending court, so I was naturally extremely nervous. Standing with a solemn expression, in the back row, the emperor, leaning lazily on his dragon throne, responded half-heartedly, "We understand. Leave this matter to beloved Minister Song." However, I let out a sigh. My ears were filled with the emperor's inner thoughts. This Minister Song is as weak as a little bamboo stick. The one standing next to him just now, didn't they just support him? How dare they make eyes at each other right in front of us? Do they really think our imperial eyes are just for show? If I hadn't heard the emperor's thoughts, and someone told me that when the emperor holds court, he spends his time matchmaking his officials, I would definitely think that person had lost their mind. I closed my eyes. Maybe it was because grandmother put too many red beans in the red bean porridge this morning, but why do I feel like dying after eating it? Just as I thought I would make it through, I felt as if a faint gaze was resting upon me. I looked over blankly and met Xie Qingyan's eyes. At the same time, the emperor's thoughts exploded in my ears again. Wait. During this morning's court, the left minister pretended to look back casually 12 times. He keeps looking at that little munchkin cat in the back. What is going on? Has the iron tree finally blossomed? Is love in the air? Even though we think this year's second-place graduate is a bit goofy, their eyes are big, they're tactful, and they look quite clean and neat. They actually look like a great match. Wait, is that munchkin cat me? The emperor had absolutely no idea that Xie Qingyan, when he stole glances at me, was clearly thinking, how can this be? Is there a problem with the persona I built? Or did I fail to hide my true nature somewhere? Why does this newcomer find me so disagreeable? After the morning court dismissed, my face was pale, and I was completely exhausted. But finding joy in sorrow, I found one good thing among all the bad, and that was, after Xie Qingyan discovered my female identity, he had no intention of exposing me at all. I walked home on trembling legs. Grandmother was already waiting for me at the door. "Sheer, what's wrong? Why is your face so pale?" I originally wanted to tell grandmother that the left minister had discovered my identity, but grandmother is getting old. In the end, this mess was created by my brother and me. It's better not to worry her. I changed the subject. "Grandmother, where has brother been lately? Since I entered the court, I don't seem to have seen him at all." "You mean Yenner? He learned some medicine from a barefoot doctor, and is now traveling the world." I knew my brother was unreliable. I didn't say much, except that my whole body felt extremely exhausted, and I desperately needed to sleep. Just as I hit the bed, grandmother brought me a bowl of red bean porridge. "Fill your stomach with this." After I finished drinking it, grandmother had a smile in her eyes. With this talisman water red bean porridge, after attending court, my shear was so frightened. The evil spirits from last time must not have been purged yet. Watch me make them scatter with this bowl of holy water. "Why aren't you sleeping, shear?" Grandmother gently tucked me in. I felt like throwing up. No wonder this red bean porridge tasted so weird. I didn't expect that I would fall into a deep sleep for 3 days and nights. During this time, I could feel my parents and grandmother taking turns watching over me. I could hear them talking, but my eyelids were so heavy. I just couldn't open my eyes. Nor could I speak. "Look at how sick she is. At worst, let's just quit being an official. Do we still have that fake death pill? If it comes to it, we'll fake her death and run away." But what about Yenner? He's traveling, and we don't know when he'll return. If he returns and finds our whole family dead, how terrified would he be? In the afternoon of the 4th day, I finally opened my eyes. My fever had subsided, but my throat was still incredibly dry, causing me to cough from time to time. During the days you were sick, many people came by. This ginseng was sent by Lord Wu. Lord Wu is this year's top graduate. And this warm jade was sent by Lord Qi. But I think what you'd be happiest to see is this inkstone and calligraphy painting. These were sent by the left minister himself. I remember you loved the left minister's policy essays. Before, his calligraphy was hard to get even for 1,000 gold pieces. Now, he personally delivered them to our estate. I sat up and took a look. It truly was the left minister's own writing. Put them all in the storeroom. Ever since I could hear inner thoughts, the left minister's perfect image in my mind had completely shattered. I looked up at the bed curtains and screamed in my heart. Now that my illness was cured, I persuaded my parents to put aside the idea of faking death and running away. I was about to fulfill my great ambitions. To make me change my name and leave now, I simply couldn't accept it. I still had to attend court. During the days I was away, the top graduate and the third-place graduate had been transferred elsewhere. When the left minister arrived, I didn't join the crowd, but Xie Qingyan took a few steps and stood right in front of me. Is Lord Jiang feeling better from your illness? Thank you for your concern, left minister. I have fully recovered. Wait, this is not right. Why is he reacting like this upon seeing me? They clearly said. Jiang Zhaoxi highly appreciates my essays, and even searches everywhere for my calligraphy. Could my cold expression be the problem? With this expression, I can't tell at all. The emperor has arrived. All the officials took their places. Emergency report for your majesty. General Qin was ambushed on his way. His current whereabouts and safety are unknown. The court erupted in an uproar. The emperor stood up abruptly. No way. No way. Is General Qin going to die? Then who will defend the northwest? Karma comes around. Is it finally my turn to take over? I looked up at the left minister in the crowd. He stood motionless, as if he didn't care about the panic around him at all. What a bunch of fools. Qin Mo is as tough as old leather. How could he die so easily? Xie Qingyan's inner thoughts comforted me greatly. Not long after court dismissed, news arrived that General Qin had been rescued. Apparently, he met a traveling female doctor on the road, who saved his life. They would arrive in the capital in a few days. The emperor was overjoyed, but my eyelids twitched violently. It felt as if something unexpected was quietly happening in a dark corner. On the day General Qin entered the capital, the emperor gave him utmost respect. Although the emperor looked beaming with joy, in his heart, he had long regretted it. Damn it. If we knew, we wouldn't have come. The wind is practically blowing us into a fool. Finally, a few tiny black dots appeared in the distance. General Qin and his lieutenants appeared beneath the city walls. I was even shorter than them. So in frustration, I had stuffed 5 insoles into my boots. Stretching on my tiptoes secretly, I still couldn't see past the front. The left minister turned his head, as if he noticed me. He chuckled at my ridiculous tiptoeing. I simply accepted my fate. Since I could hear the thoughts of those in front anyway, that must be General Qin. He truly is exceptionally heroic. Wait, why is there a young lady on the horse behind him? Could that girl be the female doctor who saved General Qin? The sound of horse hooves ceased. Suddenly, someone in the front row turned to look at me. Then, more and more people started looking back at me. I was quite bewildered, and my eyelids twitched even more violently than yesterday. A bad premonition arose. The officials cleared a path for me, and I finally saw General Qin, who had repelled the enemy forces, as well as the person following behind him. The moment I saw the girl, my pupils dilated. The left minister's thoughts rang out at that exact moment. Where did this little boy come from? The female doctor who saved General Qin. Why is she my own brother disguised as a woman? My vision went dark, and I almost fainted right there in front of the entire court. The emperor, never one to miss out on drama, was shipping them in his head every single second. Isn't this exactly like the stories where the general and the female doctor are a match made in heaven? A decree. We must decree a marriage. I was horrified. Although my brother was wearing women's clothes, he was a real, genuine man. If they compared sizes, it's hard to say who would be bigger. Once he started shipping, the emperor didn't even feel the cold anymore. This must be the female doctor who saved beloved Minister Qin. Indeed, the harsh snow of the northwest nurtures beauty. Having said this, the emperor casually glanced back at me. How did the food in the capital only raise a munchkin cat like him? But the two of them look so alike. Could they be siblings? Wait, are Minister Jiang and this lady siblings? We heard that the young lady of the Jiang family is not yet betrothed, since she saved General Qin. Your Majesty. 2 voices rang out almost simultaneously. The ones who spoke were the left minister and General Qin. I turned around and exchanged a bewildered look with Jiang Yannian. Oh? The emperor withdrew his smile. What is it? General Qin fell to his knees with a thud. Your Majesty. This subject promised his wife that he would only love her for a lifetime. I dare not marry another. General Qin, who looked like a burly, tough guy, was actually sobbing in his heart. Wha, this old emperor is going to be the death of me. When I get home, my wife is going to beat me to death. Why is he making up rumors about me? I've been clean and innocent my whole life. I've only ever touched my wife's hand. I am my wife's dog in life, and her dead dog in death. This dog will absolutely never marry another woman. Having reached this point, Jiang Yannian also knew he had caused trouble, so he knelt down as well. Your Majesty, this humble girl is a free spirit. I wish only to travel across the land and enjoy great Zhao scenery. I have absolutely no romantic feelings for General Qin. Since both of them had spoken so clearly, the emperor didn't press further to avoid embarrassment. Another day, we shall hold a palace banquet to welcome General Qin back. Before leaving, I turned back to look at Xie Qingyan. General Qin refused because he loved his wife and was unwilling to marry again. But why did the left minister stop it? At that time, everything was too hectic, and my head was so full of thoughts about my brother that I didn't pay attention to the left ministers. Beside me, Jiang Yannian quietly tugged at my sleeve. Let's go. Jiang Yannian, on the other hand, was perfectly fine, returning home with his rewards. Well, isn't your brother's figure quite elegant? Elegant, my foot. We were almost forced into marriage. I grabbed a bamboo stick nearby and chased him around to beat him. If you don't get a taste of bamboo shoots fried with meat tonight, my name isn't Jiang. In the end, grandmother stopped us. Grandmother couldn't bear to see my brother dressed like this either. Holding her nose, she told him to change. If your father comes back and sees you dressed like this, he'll faint from anger again. I dug out the dress my mother had tailored for me on my birthday and put it on. I hadn't worn a dress since my brother and I swapped identities. Sister, aren't you ready yet? I walked out of the room. This reunion dinner was personally cooked by my parents, with grandmother guiding them, and my brother in charge of making a mess. After busying ourselves for an hour, the food was finally on the table. It hasn't been easy, none of it has been easy. Just as his voice fell, our servant came running in, out of breath. Master, an honored guest has arrived. Who could it be at this hour? I immediately pushed Jiang Yannian out. It was definitely too late to change my clothes now. Xie Qingyan had already seen through my disguise. But seeing through it was one thing. Speaking it aloud was another. Since he hadn't spoken of it, I would act completely oblivious. How could I wear women's clothing and go out to meet him so blatantly? My brother and I looked at least 70% alike. Usually, I wore insoles to court and drew my facial features to look sharper. A gentleman sees through things without pointing them out, so I'll let my brother cover for me first. I hid behind the door, peeking at them through a small crack. As soon as Xie Qingyan stepped in, Jiang Yannian mimicked my mannerisms, bowed, and sat down. Xie Qingyan tilted his head slightly. The moment Xie Qingyan lowered his head, the corners of his mouth clearly curled upward. Lord Jiang, there is no need for such formality. We haven't met for just a few hours. Lord Jiang seems to have grown a few inches taller again, and his inner voice was laughing riotously. Ha 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 ha. I see through it but won't point it out. Let's see how this brother and sister play it. If the left minister had a fox tail, it would probably be wagging comfortably right now, already pointing straight up to the sky. My usually carefree brother was incredibly nervous for the first time. Jiang Yannian had no choice but to bite the bullet and keep acting. The left minister must be joking. I suppose it's because I changed into a new pair of shoes, which made me a bit taller. My face fell instantly. What does he mean? Is he trying to take a sly dig at me? So that's how it is. Xie Qingyan raised an eyebrow. No wonder Lord Jiang seemed tall one moment and short the next. So it was all because of the shoes. If only Xie Qingyan's inner voice wasn't laughing so loudly. I came today to deliver a thank you gift on behalf of General Qin for Lady Jiang. So that was it. No wonder Xie Qingyan suddenly paid a visit. Where's Lady Jiang? I thought to myself, oh. The door was pulled open, and Jiang Yannian dragged me right out. My good sister, the left minister is looking for you. I sighed. In my heart, I had already anticipated how happily Xie Qingyan would laugh when he saw me in women's clothes. But this time, I couldn't hear Xie Qingyan's inner voice. I only heard my own racing heartbeat. That shouldn't be. Could it be that my ability to hear inner voices has failed? Xie Qingyan wasn't thinking anything right now. He seemed to freeze on the spot, and then quickly lowered his gaze. Lady Jiang, these are the thank you gifts sent by General Qin. I tentatively looked at Jiang Yannian. He was screaming in his heart, wow. General Qin's family is so wealthy. He is so generous. Saving him was truly worth it. But when I looked at Xie Qingyan, I still couldn't hear any sound. Since the items have been delivered, I shall take my leave. Xie Qingyan paused. He turned around and said to Jiang Yannian. Xie Qingyan spoke up abruptly. I won't tell anyone. I snapped my gaze toward him, only to hear Xie Qingyan say, do whatever you want to do. And his inner voice rang in my ears once again. What does it matter if she is a man? What does it matter if she is a woman? Jiang Zhaoxi has every right to stand in this imperial court. She studied poetry hard for over a decade, passing through trials and overcoming obstacles to get here. She is second to none, and shouldn't spend her life constrained in the shadows. Thump. I suddenly realized that my own heartbeat was so loud that it had drowned out Xie Qingyan's inner voice. Actually, to reach this position today, my parents and grandmother had advised me more than once. From the day I put on men's clothes and entered the court to become an official, I carried the lives of my entire family, destined to conceal my identity for life. I would cast aside love and dedicate everything to Great Zhao. I could fake my death and leave with my family, pretending it was all just a dream. When I woke up, I would still be the young lady of the Jiang family, who could marry a loving husband, spend my life with him, and bear our children. But I was unwilling. I smiled at Xie Qingyan, being able to hear people's inner voices, and having the left minister support me. What reason did I have to hold back now? I went straight to impeaching. Today impeaching this one. Tomorrow impeaching that one. Determined to root out all the corrupt parasites of the court. It was another morning court session. The emperor slightly squinted his eyes, scanning the officials. I heard his inner voice, which was no longer focused on shipping. Slap the civil officials once, slap the military officials twice, and give those old geezers the 18 subduing dragon palms. How dare they do so many dirty deeds behind my back? The emperor's face looked so terrible. Did I say something wrong again just now? Ugh, let me go. I don't want to attend court. I want to go back to the northwest. Dare to do but not to admit. What a bunch of cowards. Oh no, during last year's Lantern Festival, I touched a girl's hand at Chunfeng Pavilion. When my wife asked, I lied and said I went to buy pastries for her. This won't be exposed, will it? This is bad. I got up at midnight to eat supper for a month straight. I tortured the cook and didn't even give him a raise. The emperor won't find out about this, right? Oh no, the grandson of my female cousin's second aunt's nephew's wife's close friend wanted to be an official, so I sent a letter to get him a minor position. This Jiang Zhaoxi, how is he even human? He is clearly a roundworm in my stomach. How does he know everything? Who is giving him inside information? Or did he plan to spy in my manner? Hearing the inner voice was one thing, but I also needed to gather evidence. I wouldn't let anyone with a guilty conscience off the hook. After the court was dismissed, I rushed back to my study without stopping, but the door was suddenly pushed open with a bang. Jiang Yanyan's face was extremely solemn. Someone has submitted an anonymous letter to the emperor, exposing our identities. There is no wall in the world that can keep out the wind. Since I was taking away others' livelihoods, they would definitely want to pull me down too. I just didn't expect it to happen so suddenly. I still had so many unfinished tasks, and many corrupt officials I hadn't had time to weed out. Where is the letter? As long as it hasn't reached the emperor's hands, there's still time. Brother, send someone to inform the left minister and General Qin. You saved General Qin's life. He will surely help you. As for the left minister, Xie Qingyan's face flashed across my mind. For some reason, I was certain he would help. Brother, go change your clothes quickly. You're coming to the palace with me. Indeed, Xie Qingyan and General Qin lent a helping hand. One deliberately stalled the emperor, while the other tried to intercept the letter. The one responsible for stalling was General Qin. He was a man of few words, so he repeated the stories of the Northwest over and over again. He even described the various ways to eat sheep, in painstaking detail, making the emperor grow impatient. Enough. We still have memorials to review. We are not in the mood to listen to you talk about how many sheep you ate, whether they were stewed or roasted, whether you drank mutton soup or sprinkled cumin. Why are you telling us all this? General Qin's face turned pale. Your Majesty, this subject still has important matters. What other important matters could you have? We sat here and listened to you for a full hour, and didn't hear a single important matter. If you truly have something to report, speak during tomorrow's morning court. A young eunuch nearby immediately stepped forward. Your Majesty, Lord Jiang requests an audience. But they still failed to stop the anonymous letter. Jiang Yanyan and I could not enter the palace without a summons. Xie Qingyan, who could enter, ultimately didn't make it in time. He watched helplessly as that letter landed in the hands of the chief eunuch. By the emperor's side, in the grand hall, Jiang Yanyan and I knelt on the ground. Over the past 6 months, I had been constantly living in fear, and bound hand and foot, but today, I felt completely relieved. Beside me, Jiang Yanyan tugged at my sleeve, and nodded at me. Meanwhile, his inner voice rang out, if you ask me, the court and Great Zhao should be secretly laughing with joy to have a talent like my sister. If my sister was born a man, she would surely punch King Qin and kick Xie Qingyan. They wouldn't even stand a chance. Even though she is a woman, she still accomplished it, and did it better than anyone else. My neck feels cold, and I feel like I'm about to die. But why am I not afraid at all? I need to act calm, so my sister won't worry about me. I took a breath. Your Majesty, this subject is guilty. The emperor put down the anonymous letter. What mistake has beloved Minister Jiang committed? I did not lift my head. Truthfully and in full, I confessed to swapping identities with my brother. This subject was possessed by a momentary madness. It is entirely this subject's fault, and has nothing to do with my family. Then, Minister Jiang, do you regret it? Regret? From the first day I stepped into this palace, I had never regretted it. I stiffened my neck. No. The emperor gave a soft chuckle. Raise your head and look at us. We do not care whether you are a man or a woman. What harm is there in turning a blind eye? The moment our eyes met, the emperor's inner thoughts came rushing in like a flood, almost drowning me. We miss our imperial mother. If you ask us, if our father hadn't had the assistance of our mother, Great Zhao wouldn't be as peaceful as it is today. An extraordinary woman. Like our mother is the one who deserved to sit on the throne. Our mother was far more outstanding than us. If she were still alive, we would willingly give her the throne. What does it matter if one is male or female? Talents should be put to good use, and the capable should lead. Only those old geezers care about gender. We have already begun setting up the school for women. In 10 years, no, 5 years, more talents will definitely emerge. Hearing these inner thoughts, my heart went numb. I couldn't believe the emperor actually thought this way. However, this matter must not be leaked yet. He pondered for a moment. Since you siblings have been swapping identities, what should we do about your marriages? Jiang Yannian lifted his head blankly. The two of you are not yet betrothed, right? How about we bestow a marriage upon you? Since your situation is unique, it's better to find someone who knows your background. Wait, your majesty, please stop shipping. Since our secret discussion that day, for several days during morning court, I could hear him trying to find a husband for me. This one won't do. He's so big and burly, rolling over would flatten Jiang Zhaoxi. No, no. This one won't do either. Lord Song's body is too weak and frail. He could choke to death just from drinking water. The top scholar is quite handsome. No, he is reserved for Princess Tanhua. After the court dismissed, several ministers rubbed their chilly necks. Why do I feel like the emperor has been staring at me? Yes, I felt it too. I didn't dare make a sound. I quickly bypassed them, only to be caught by Xie Qingyan. Xie Qingyan poured me a cup of tea. How is it? The matter of dressing as a man is considered resolved. The emperor's meaning is, there are too many conservative veterans in the court, so I can't directly reveal my identity yet. We still have to make gradual plans. It's just, the emperor has been busy looking for a suitable husband for me these past few days. Xie Qingyan's hand pouring tea paused, and he slightly narrowed his eyes. A suitable husband? I casually replied, yes. But, the moment I said it, I regretted letting Xie Qingyan know. He spoke nonchalantly, then what does Lord Jiang think of me? Unfortunately, the left minister's inner voice had already betrayed him, roaring loudly, pick me, 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 or else I'll make a scene. I fled, running away in panic, almost jumping out of the window onto the street. When I got home, Jiang Yannian looked at me in surprise. What did you do? Why is your face so red? I hurriedly touched my face in confusion. It was indeed incredibly hot. Not only was my face burning, but my heart was also beating extremely fast. It's nothing. I quickly walked back to my courtyard. As soon as I entered the study, I saw the inkstone on the desk that Xie Qingyan had sent. I turned and went into my bedroom, where Xie Qingyan's calligraphy and paintings hung. To be fair, it was his policy essays that first made me envision becoming an official. And it was also he who helped me clear out the parasites of the court to reach my position today. To me, he was both a mentor and a friend. Could I truly say, with a clear conscience, that looking at his face, I had no other thoughts? No. I tossed and turned all night. The next day, I still had to attend court. I didn't know if it was just my imagination, but the left minister today seemed very different. He was clearly still wearing his official robes, but his posture was exceptionally upright. His brows and eyes were striking, and there even seemed to be powder on his face. Soon, I realized it was indeed not my imagination. The iron tree is blooming. Why is the left minister dressed up like this today? A man dresses up for the one he loves. Even my rooster knows to stick a few pretty feathers on his tail when he's courting. Even General Qin stared at Xie Qingyan, dumbfounded. Good grief, what is he competing in now? He's actually dressing up just to attend court. The emperor, who was choosing a husband for me, was just like yesterday, his eyes scanning the ministers one by one. This time, his gaze landed on Xie Qingyan. We previously felt that the left minister and Jiang Zhaoxi were a great match. Looking at them today, he is indeed an excellent candidate. A married couple, working together by day. No matter how much they argue, they still have to return to the same home and sleep in the same bed at night. Just thinking about it is amusing. After the court dismissed, the emperor deliberately kept the two of us behind. We see that the left minister is not yet married, and possesses both talent and good looks. What does Minister Jiang think of him? I stepped out of the hall. An imperial marriage decreed by His Majesty, that is a supreme honor. Xie Qingyan was still waiting at the door. Lord Jiang, please walk. I held my head high and took large strides forward, suddenly halting my steps, almost bumping right into Xie Qingyan. He gently supported my waist. What is it? I was thinking about Lord Su buying his official post. And what else? And, Xie Qingyan, these eyes of mine can see through the secrets of everyone's heart. Then, may I ask, Lord Jiang, what am I thinking about right now? At the same time, Xie Qingyan's inner voice echoed in my ears. I only wish your heart is like mine, and I will never let your yearning go to waste. The moment the imperial decree arrived at the Jiang family home, I was hiding under the peach blossom tree in the courtyard. Grandmother was the first to hear the servant's announcement at the door. She came running out of the house on her bound feet, still clutching a half-sewn pouch in her hand. Quick, accept the decree. Our Shi'er is going to be the left minister's wife. With a clang, the teacup in my father's hand dropped to the ground. spilling tea all over his official robes. My mother covered her mouth, tears instantly streaming down her face. She was crying and laughing at the same time. We finally don't have to live in fear anymore. Only Jiang Yannian whistled casually. My sister is simply amazing. She managed to tame Great Zhao's most powerful left minister. Who would dare bully our Jiang family in the future? That kid Xie Qingyan looks so gentle and refined. But I didn't expect him to move so fast. If I had known, I would have taken the Imperial examinations too. I bit the bullet and knelt with my family to accept the Imperial decree. The eunuch smiled at me and said, Lord Jiang, the left minister has been looking forward to this decree for a very long time. We in the palace could all see it. My cheeks burned hot. I lowered my head to offer thanks. My good Shi'er, you've finally married into a good family. Xie Qingyan seems like a reliable man. More importantly, he knows Shi'er's identity and still protects her. He is 100 times better than those blind, uncaring men. I must quickly throw away that fake death potion. We will never need it again. I stumbled slightly as I stood up. Jiang Yannian leaned close to my ear and whispered, You finally managed to marry yourself off. From now on, I won't have to take the blame for you anymore. I pinched him back, hearing him cry out in his mind. The corners of my mouth couldn't help but turn up. All right, I was wrong, okay? I said to the left minister. My whole body stiffened, and I instinctively wanted to hide, but grandmother grabbed me and pulled me forward. Why are you hiding? Your future husband is here. Go greet him. Xie Qingyan, dressed in casual robes, strolled into the courtyard. His gaze landed on me, the smile in his eyes completely impossible to hide. He stepped forward to greet my parents and grandmother with perfect manners, flawless in every way. But his inner thoughts were buzzing loudly in my ears. I can finally come to see Shi'er openly. Her ears turned so red when she accepted the decree just now. She is so adorable. My cheeks burned under his gaze, my fingers tightly clutching the hem of my clothes. Jiang Yannian nudged his way over, deliberately bumping against my shoulder. He said loudly, Lord Left Minister, I entrust my sister to you from now on. You must not bully her. Xie Qingyan gave him a cool glance, and his inner thoughts rudely snapped back, Control me? You'd better worry about yourself first. I haven't even settled the score with you for almost getting forced into marriage. While dressing up as a woman last time, Jiang Yannian shuddered for no apparent reason, and didn't dare to speak again. Grandmother took Xie Qingyan's hand, and warmly invited him inside. Grandmother made the osmanthus cakes you love. I followed behind, hearing Xie Qingyan's inner voice. So grandmother knows I like osmanthus cakes. Shi'er must have told her. We will be a family from now on. That's wonderful. I paused in my tracks, my heart starting to race uncontrollably again. It turned out that all those seemingly casual details were kept close to his heart. The news of the Imperial marriage spread across the capital in less than half a day, and all the streets and alleys were buzzing with discussion. The left minister was marrying the runner-up of the Imperial examination. What a bizarre story. After all, no one expected that the left minister, who was always cold and aloof, and had rejected marriage proposals even from Imperial relatives, would suddenly fall for a young official who had just entered court. Only I knew that this was entirely the result of the emperor's shipping obsession. And, even more so, Xie Qingyan's long-term plan. The Jiang family plunged completely into the chaotic bustle of wedding preparations. Grandmother said that before a woman marries, she must learn embroidery, etiquette, and household management. Holding the embroidery needle, not only did I fail to sew anything resembling mandarin ducks, but I also pricked several of my fingers. Beads of blood seeped from my fingertips, making me grimace in pain. Grandmother sighed internally as she watched my clumsy movements. Shi'er has loved reading since she was a child. How could she possibly do this needlework? Forget it. In the future, we'll just let the embroiderers at the left minister's manor do it. We mustn't trouble my dear granddaughter. Shi'er must be virtuous after she marries. Embroidery is a mandatory skill. Practice some more. Jiang Yannian approached with a plate of pastries, and looked at the crooked embroidery on my cloth, doubling over with laughter. Sister, are you embroidering mandarin ducks or wild ducks? It's too ugly. His heart was filled with wild laughter. To think my sister could actually be this clumsy. This is too funny. I must remember this moment, and mock her for it every single day. I glared at him, grabbed the embroidery needle, and threw it at him. The pastries scattered all over the floor. Jiang Yannian, stop right there. Just as I was chasing Jiang Yannian around the yard, familiar footsteps sounded from outside the gate. Xie Qingyan had come again. He was carrying a stone food box in his hand. As he walked into the courtyard, he saw me chasing Jiang Yannian. He stopped in his tracks, his heart melting completely. How can she be so cute even when she's angry? I will protect her in the future, and she won't have to learn this annoying needlework. I stopped dead in my tracks, standing awkwardly in place, my finger still poised as if to grab him. Xie Qingyan walked over to my side, and naturally took my hand. He pulled a vial of ointment from his sleeve, and gently applied it to my fingers. His fingertips were warm, and I could clearly hear his inner voice. Does it hurt? Don't learn this anymore. With me here, I want to spoil her and make her the happiest person in the world. My heart skipped a beat instantly. I looked up at him. Jiang Yannian watched from the side, cringing, and grumbled in his heart about the public display of affection. They're showing off their love way too much. I want to run away from home. Can someone please control this couple? Grandmother came out of the room, her heart blooming with joy. Look at how much Qingyan dotes on Xi'er. My heart can finally be at ease. Get married quickly. And quickly give me a chubby great-grandson. My cheeks flushed bright red. And I turned around to hide in the room. Xie Qingyan looked at my flustered back, his inner thoughts filled with pure doting. Why are you running? I won't eat you. Just wait until I marry you home. Then I can be with you every day. In the days that followed, Xie Qingyan came to the Jiang residence almost every day. Sometimes he brought rare books. Sometimes he brought the pastries I loved. And sometimes he would just sit quietly in the courtyard, watching me read and write. He never said much, but showed me through his actions that he would always be by my side. And I gradually grew used to his presence around me. On the last morning court session before the wedding, I stood in the court wearing my official robes. The moment I showed my face, I felt gazes landing on me from all directions. His Majesty, sitting on the dragon throne, had the fire of gossip burning fiercely in his heart. I ship it. I ship it. The left minister and Lord Jiang look so matching standing together. Tomorrow is the big wedding day. I have already prepared the wedding gifts. From now on, I can watch this married couple every day in court. This is too wonderful. I kept my head down, trying my best to minimize my presence. But the inner thoughts in my ears kept buzzing one after another. The Lord Left Minister is actually getting married. And to the young runner-up of the exams, no less. This is so bizarre. I heard Lord Jiang is extremely talented. A match made in heaven with the Lord Left Minister. From now on, Lord Jiang will be the Left Minister's wife. We must curry favor with her. A woman entering court as an official was already against the rules. And now she is marrying the Left Minister. What a disgrace. Is the crime of deceiving the emperor just forgotten like that? His Majesty is being far too lenient. Listening to these inner thoughts, my heart remained completely untroubled. I was no longer the trembling young runner-up, who lived in constant fear of her identity being exposed. Xie Qingyan stood at the head of the civil and military officials, and cast a reassuring glance at me. Don't be afraid. With me here, if anyone dares to speak ill of you, I will deal with them. General Qin stood at the front of the military officials, howling in his heart. Oh, my goodness. They're even showing off their love in the Imperial court. I want to go back to the Northwest. I don't want to be fed this lovey-dovey stuff. My wife is still the best. She doesn't do all this flashy nonsense. The morning court began, and the officials reported on routine government affairs. But His Majesty was completely distracted, secretly watching Xie Qingyan and me the entire time. The left minister just handed Lord Jiang's memorial to her. So sweet. The left minister kept staring at Lord Jiang while she was speaking. His eyes are literally dripping with affection. I am truly the best matchmaker under heaven. We finally made it to the end of the court session. Just as I was about to leave quickly, Xie Qingyan grabbed my wrist. He led me to a side hall, and closed the doors. Only the two of us were left in the hall. Tomorrow is our wedding. Are you nervous? I nodded, then shook my head. Hearing his inner thoughts, I knew. He was actually more nervous than I was. I've looked forward to this for so long, and I can finally marry her and bring her home. I won't have to look at her in secret anymore. And I won't have to hide my feelings ever again. I reached out to gently hug his waist, and whispered, Xie Qingyan, I think I've liked you for a long time. From initially admiring his political essays, to seeing the gentleness beneath his scheming nature, and to the times he protected me again and again, my heart had long belonged to him. Xie Qingyan's body stiffened, his inner thoughts practically exploding with excitement. She likes me. She really likes me. This is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Jiang Zhaoxi, I will protect you for the rest of my life, and love you for eternity. His Majesty, who should have been on the dragon throne, had somehow snuck outside the side hall door, screaming wildly in his mind. They hugged. My ship has actually come true. My life is complete. On the day of the grand wedding, before the sky was even bright, the Jiang residence was already brightly lit, and bustling with excitement. Grandmother and the maids were helping me dress and put on makeup. I looked at myself in the mirror, feeling a bit dazed. From cross-dressing as a man to enter court as an official, to unexpectedly hearing everyone's inner thoughts, and then to meeting Xie Qingyan. It all felt like a dream. Grandmother helped me adjust my bridal robe, her eyes turning slightly red, as she felt deep reluctance to let me go. My Xi'er has grown up, and she is getting married. You must live well at the left minister's manor. Grandmother will always be thinking of you. My mother held my hand, her heart full of worry. Xi'er, mother can't bear to let you go. If Xie Qingyan ever dares to bully you, mother will risk her old life to stand up for you. Jiang Yannian stood to the side, looking nonchalant as usual, but his heart was full of reluctance. Sister, you will be the left minister's wife from now on. Brother won't be able to stay by your side every day anymore. Xie Qingyan, if you dare to treat my sister poorly, I won't let you off. Looking at my family, my own eyes welled up as I reached out to hug grandmother and mother, and whispered, Mother, grandmother, brother, I will come back to visit you often. The auspicious hour had arrived. From outside the gates, came the loud, joyful sound of gongs and drums. Xie Qingyan's bridal procession had arrived. He was riding a tall horse. Xie Qingyan walked into the Jiang residence, and at first glance saw me in my bridal robe. The astonishment and gentleness in his eyes practically overflowed. His inner thoughts incredibly tender and affectionate. My bride is so beautiful. Jiang Zhaoxi, from this day forward, you are my wife. He stepped forward, took my hand, and helped me into the bridal sedan. The sedan was lifted, and accompanied by music all the way, it headed toward the left minister's manor. The townspeople crowded the roadsides, their hearts filled with curiosity. I heard the bride is the runner-up of the recent exams, who cross-dressed as a man to become a court official. What an extraordinary woman. They are a perfect match of talent and beauty. A marriage made in heaven. As the sedan passed the palace gates, His Majesty specially sent a eunuch to deliver wedding gifts, his heart practically bursting with joy. They're married. They're married. My ship is officially married. This marriage proves that my matchmaking taste is excellent. Hurry and send the best rewards over, and wish them a long and happy marriage. Sitting inside the sedan, I listened to the laughter and cheers outside, and to Xie Qingyan's quiet, continuous thoughts of me along the way. The corners of my mouth curled up. So this is what it feels like to be deeply cherished and doted on. The left minister's manor was already decorated beautifully, exuding festive joy in every corner. The wedding ceremony was grand and lively. The envoys sent by His Majesty observed the ceremony, and officials of the court gathered together, filling the hall with laughter. First bow to heaven and earth, second bow to the parents, bow to each other. As Xie Qingyan and I knelt side by side, and bowed deeply to each other, I could clearly hear his inner voice, firm and tender. You are the only one for me in this life. I will never leave you. After the ceremony was completed, I was escorted to the bridal chamber. As I sat on the wedding bed, the maids serving me were gossiping in their minds. Our lady is so beautiful. She and our master match so well. Our master is so good to our lady. Even before the wedding, he handed all the authority over the manor to her. I sat on the bed, tightly clutching the hem of my robe, when the door was pushed open. Xie Qingyan walked in. He dismissed the maids, came up to me, and gently lifted my red bridal veil. Our eyes met, and time seemed to stand still. Sheer, I have finally married you. From now on, this is your home. I will be with you forever. He reached out to gently brush aside the stray hairs on my forehead, and whispered, Sheer, I've made things hard for you. To be with me, you still have to temporarily hide your identity as a woman. It's not hard at all. With you here, I'm not afraid of anything. In fact, I knew he had been planning for me all along. When the time was ripe, he would allow me, as a woman, to stand openly and proudly in the court. By his side, Xie Qingyan pulled me into his embrace, resting his chin on the top of my head, his inner thoughts completely filled with contentment. With a wife like this, what more could a husband ask for? I want to spend every single day of the future with you. In the days following our wedding, I continued to wear men's clothing to attend court as an official. Only now, by my side, there was someone else, my husband, the left minister, who protected me at all times. In court, I continued to use my ability to hear inner thoughts, to weed out corrupt officials, and rid the court of parasites, while Xie Qingyan backed me up from the side. His Majesty, watching us, only grew more and more obsessed with shipping us. Their post-marriage dynamic is so sweet to watch. Lord Jiang investigates cases and the left minister backs her up. They are truly the best partners in the court. Watching them work together every day brings me so much joy. Those elder ministers who were once displeased with my female identity, now dared not speak a word of complaint. For one, my political achievements were outstanding, and I deeply held His Majesty's trust. Secondly, Xie Qingyan held immense power, and no one dared to offend him easily. Although Lord Jiang is a woman, she is more capable than most of the men. I was blind before, and shouldn't have looked down on women. With Lord Jiang and the Lord Left Minister here, Great Zhao will surely grow more and more prosperous. Every time General Qin attended court, he was stuffed with the lovey-dovey PDA we showed, wailing in his heart daily about returning to the northwest. I can't take this anymore. The court is completely filled with PDA. I want to go home to my wife. I don't want to be stuffed with this lovey-dovey stuff here. Even the sheep in the northwest are quieter than this court. After court was dismissed, Xie Qingyan would hold my hand. As we returned to the left minister's manor together, the townspeople on the streets would bow and smile when they saw us, their hearts full of blessings. Once we returned to the manor, I would change back into women's clothing, shedding my sharp court persona, to become the gentle Jiang Zhaoxi once again. Xie Qingyan would accompany me as I read and wrote, or as I enjoyed the flowers and drank tea. Sometimes he would even cook in the kitchen himself, to make the pastries I loved. His inner thoughts were always filled with absolute devotion. Seeing her smile makes me so happy. I want to give her all the best things in the world. Meeting her is the greatest fortune of my life. Jiang Yannian often came to the left minister's manor to freeload on food and drinks. Looking at our loving relationship, he felt both envious and bitter in his heart. Showing off their love, they do it every single day. I need to find a wife too, and show off our love. Grandmother also came over often, quietly wishing for a chubby great-grandson. It would be best to have a pair of boy and girl twins. Xie and Qing Yan are both so outstanding. Their children will surely be brilliant. Every time I heard grandmother's thoughts, my cheeks would flush bright red. Half a year after our wedding, His Majesty finally issued an official decree to establish female academies, allowing women to enter school to study and take the imperial examinations to earn titles. Once this imperial decree was announced, the entire nation was shaken. Although the conservative ministers were displeased, they didn't dare object. After all, the court was now clean and just, and His Majesty was wise and brilliant. On the day the female academy was completed, I made my public appearance as the young lady of the Jiang family. Standing in front of the academy gates, I watched countless women walk into the school with anticipation, my heart filled with deep comfort. This had been my dream since childhood, and now it was finally realized. His Majesty attended in person, immensely proud in his heart. I did it. The women of Great Zhao can now study and become officials too. Xie was the first, and there will be many more extraordinary women like her in the future. The future of Great Zhao will grow brighter and brighter. Xie Qingyan stood by my side, tightly holding my hand, his inner thoughts incredibly gentle. Look, you did it. You are the most outstanding woman in Great Zhao, and my eternal pride. The citizens looked at me, their hearts filled with respect. Thank you, Lady Jiang, for bringing honor to us women. From now on, we women can also read and write, and realize our ambitions. The opening of the female academies completely broke the old system that forbade women from studying and becoming officials. The social climate of Great Zhao also became increasingly progressive, and I no longer needed to dress as a man. As a woman, I would continue to pursue my ambitions in court, and alongside Xie Qingyan, assist His Majesty in protecting the land and state of Great Zhao.